welcome to 5-Star Dynasty presents the Waiver Show with one of us. Episode 101, FAAB Dump. I'm your host, Tomcat. I am here because we want to take a visit. Pip was not able to make it, but I'm sure he will be here in the chat when he gets a chance. And I appreciate the comment, Hitman, but unfortunately it's just me today. Pip is not able to make it. He will pop in when he can. I think we're going to probably try to do a Thursday show. And so now we made it. So the redraft show now also has an extension, the Waiver Show. So, Hitman, I am so glad you're here because you can help me because I am just going to ramble on for a while. And sorry, my hair's wet. I just got out of the shower. I just got to give it one of those. We are good to go. I am very, very excited. I'm seeing a lot of vindication from things I thought were going to happen. And I'm seeing a lot of things that I'm wrong on. Everybody's going to find things that you're wrong on. Nobody can be right on everything. I really wish I grabbed more Javonte Williams. I wish I grabbed more Travis Etienne. Guys like that I grabbed a little bit, but like I did like them and I just wasn't brave enough. So here I am. We're just going to go till we can't go anymore. I'll be here anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour. I'm going to try to go for an hour, though, if you guys can deal with me. So let me just grab this right here, and I will pop up some, we'll go with waivers. We'll go with some reactions for the week. Whatnot. I don't want to go over too much because the fact that me and Piff are probably still going to do a show this week. We'll probably just do it Thursday, but I didn't want you guys to miss out on the waivers because they are tomorrow. I do agree. Benson to the moon, and listen, this is the Waiver Show, so we're going to talk about Dynasty and redraft. There is no discrepancy. So the fact of the matter is, I know, Hitman, you're the same as me. You probably have a ton of Benson, where we didn't know how long Connor was going to go. We didn't know Connor was going to sign that extension, and we obviously didn't know Connor was going to get hurt. But Benson to the moon. That was going to be my main talking point, and as soon as you said it, I figured I'd post it, or pin it, rather, and we'll get right down to it. I'm loving this Benson to the moon. I definitely feel this. I will say, I don't know about anybody out there, but I had a couple leagues that were thin benches, and I had to drop Benson week 1. And now I'm terrified because I know I'm going to have to dump like all my FAAB trying to get him. So, and I don't blame anybody trying to do that. Anybody that wants to just throw a bunch of their FAAB in, I totally get it because he looks like he's going to be the guy. And the main thing is when you got a guy who goes down, you want to make sure that you get the guy, who's going to fill in. But there's a difference between who's going to fill in and who's going to be productive. And Benson, in my eyes, is going to be productive. I cannot wait. I thought he was already starting to be a little bit usable just by himself. With Connor even there, he was starting to show was the coaching staff's trusting him. They really like him. Connor's a captain. He wasn't going anywhere, but unless he had a season-ending injury. And now that that's happened, I mean, as Hitman said, Benson to the moon. I am so excited. I'm not excited for Connor because I really like Connor and I own a lot of Connor, but I'm really excited for where I own Benson. I'm a little concerned about the Washington running backs because I'm worried that they're all going to get enough. I still think Bill is the one to own, but I'm worried that McNichols and Rodriguez are going to get enough to make it annoying. And that's what I'm worried about. Now, that being said, if you're thin at running back, you beggars can't be choosers. You got to scrape around those points all you can. It wasn't until I was deep into playing Dynasty that I really saw how many championships you can truly win with just 3 to 7 points at running back, just hoping for the best, and then all your strength is in other positions. I used to be so against that, but in Dynasty, I love it. If we're talking redraft, I like to have strong running backs. Now, let's go over some of these top waiver ads. So Trey Tucker is going to be the number 1 waiver ad right now. It easily could be a trap. I'm not saying don't go for him, but he is the wide receiver 4 on the year right now because of a 43-point game. He had 9 targets. He went 8 for 145 and 3 touchdowns. Now, that's all fun and good, and like I love that. And I'm not saying don't chase it and grab him, but if you grab him in redraft, I don't even know if I'd play him. I mean, I might grab him so he's on my bench. So if it is for real, I'm not the one who missed out on him. But man, I'm not really. I'm with you, hey, man. I feel like it's a trap. I feel like he had a really good game, and every season we see players have a good game, and everybody explodes for him and says, "Oh, are we gonna forget that Gabe Davis had a huge game, and then everybody was like, oh, he's the truth. He's gonna be a top wide receiver. He's Josh Allen's new target, all this other stuff." And that didn't happen. So I'm very weary of that. Now, again, if you have bench space and there's nobody else to grab, you can always try to grab him. Tyquan Thornton, I will say, is looking like the guy you want in the Chiefs until Rashee Rice comes back. Once Rashee Rice comes back, he's obviously going to be. But even then, I will say Rashee Rice and Tyquan Thornton play differently. So Tyquan Thornton is interesting because I had a little bit of hopes for him in Dynasty when he went to the Patriots. And that never amounted to anything. But, I mean, he had 9 targets, 71 yards out of 5 catches, and a touchdown. Almost had a second touchdown, but I got overturned on, what did he do last week? So last week he just got the big, you know what it is? If you can get him on your team, maybe get him on your team and bench him and just see if if that was just a 1 game thing of him getting 9 targets. But, again, if we're talking waivers and you need to get some depth or you need to scrape by because you lost multiple guys. I know multiple people who lost so many. I know one guy who last week he lost Eckler. And this week he lost Lamb and Mike Evans. So it's like there are people who are like, by chance of all the big injuries, they have almost every guy. And if you're hurting and you need to plug somebody in, Tyquan Thornton's a pretty good one. But all your FAAB should be going to Trey Benson. I mean, you should just be. I'm not saying you have to dump every dollar you have, but whatever you're willing to spend, you should throw at him. And he's probably going to go for like easily 50, 60 FAAB, I want to say. Easily. Maybe more than that if you're in like a 200 FAAB league. Some guys who might be floating around that you might want to look at. Yes, I'm pretty worried about Worthy because unfortunately his size, his speed, what he works on, what he does, if he has the bad shoulder, I'm worried it's one of those issues where he gets hit and all of a sudden he's out again because his shoulder got hit. There's just some guys, Delvin Cook was one of them, which obviously is a different position, so it's way different because he's taking the ball and immediately getting tackled. But it does just anytime I know somebody has a shoulder issue and they're trying to come back too soon, I always worry that one bump. Oh, you played them. There's your 0 or your 1 point. They're out. And that's what I'm very concerned about. I don't want to deter anybody from Worthy at all. I don't want to tell anybody they should go trade Worthy away. You got to be weary of Worthy is all I'm saying. I do know it's going to sound gross, but Sterling Shepard is worth going for. I think Sterling Shepard and 32. Let me see. I think Sterling Shepard, I could be wrong, but I think Baker and Sterling Shepard played together at one point. They're actually friends in real life. So like Evans going down, there's a really good chance that Sterling Shepard becomes the number 2. As crazy as that sounds. Never thought I'd be saying that in 2025. But if he's out there, maybe try to grab him. Ollie Gordon. If Ollie Gordon's out there, you need to grab him. If Blake Corum's out there, you need to grab him. And we're talking redraft right now. Obviously, these guys are going to be rostered already in Dynasty. But in redraft, you need to grab these guys. Let's see. Torrey Horton and Luther Burden. Those guys should be rostered. You need to go out and grab those guys. There's a very good chance that Godwin comes back this year, or this week rather. If he does come back this week, I'm not playing him. I'm watching him. I'm like, cool, glad he's back. I grabbed him in some redrafts. I already owned him in a ton of dynasties. Not playing him in one. Not one. Actually, I take that back. If he comes back this week, I'm playing him in a 32 team or that I took over the orphan this year. And I just a buddy of mine that I know in real life runs the league. And I told him I'd fill in the orphan. It's the Atlanta Falcons, but the league is so old and it's a 32 team league and everybody's traded or dropped so many people that like I don't have anybody from the Falcons on my team, even though I'm supposed to be the Falcons. But yeah, no. I'm really not playing Godwin. I'm also not going to be mad at myself if Godwin plays and he gets like 8 catches, 112 yards, and a touchdown. I'm not going to be mad at myself because I'm going to be like, oh, cool. Now I got Godwin. He's back. But I'm not risking him coming and playing 5 snaps and then being like, oh, I'm feeling sore. So that's something to be mindful of. He snap counts and coming back and saying, oh, yeah, I played 1 quarter and I was feeling a little sore and we tightened up, so we don't want to risk it. It's like, what? So that's what I'm worried about when it comes to stuff like that. Let's see who else we got. If for some reason these names are going to sound gross, but again, we're digging deep. And at this point of the season with this many injuries, you're grabbing guys who are backups or backups of backups, hoping that like if people go down, you're just not the schmuck who has to overpay for these bad names. But Miles Sanders, Devin Singletary, Kenneth Gainwell. These are all names. Obviously, I said Ollie Gordon before. These are all names of people that like the backups or the main guy went down, and you need to grab them just in case. Am I excited about playing any of those names? No, not really. But like, I'm not really playing them or grabbing them to play them unless I'm desperate and I have injuries. I'm mostly just grabbing them. Like, I'm gonna give you a good example. In the podcast league, in the redraft league, I believe I have Connor. I could be wrong. Let me double check that. It's either that one or another one I'm thinking of where I have Connor and even though I'm one of the top. Yes. So I'm 3-0 and I'm feeling really, really good in the podcast league until I just lost Connor. Now I have Jordan Mason and I have Miles Sanders on the bench that I grabbed last week just in case. So if Javonte goes down or whatever. Sorry, I almost started doing waivers. So I'm one of those people that like I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, oh, I have Jonathan Taylor, like I don't want to sell him. I have Malik Neighbors, I don't want to sell him. But if push comes to shove and I start needing depth, I might need to start thinking about selling one of those studs for 2 pretty good names. I don't know. I really don't want to, but losing Connor is a huge blow for me when I have nothing but backups and relief backs. I do have Jordan Mason, who's great. And I do think, I don't know about you, Hitman, but I personally think that Jordan Mason keeps the job for the most part. Like that, even when Aaron Jones comes back, he like does some passing downs and he like takes some work here or there. But I feel like by the time Aaron Jones comes back, Jordan Mason's going to have so many weeks to have good weeks and prove that he's the guy who should be getting the rock. So I'm hoping he can stay my RB2 there. But if not, I'll be looking to trade for running backs, which nobody wants to trade running backs. So good luck to me. What's rest of the year? What do you mean rest of the year? Sorry, I didn't see if you had another comment that I'm not seeing. How do I think Godwin does rest of the year? Is that what you're asking? Let's see. What else we got while I'm waiting for him? Mason starting. Oh, yeah. I think Mason's starting the rest of the year. I just think they are paying Aaron Jones. He's going to come back and he's going to take touches. I don't think that's out of the question. But like the majority of the carries should go to Mason. He did way better. Maybe look at Hassan Haskins. I don't really want to take him, but you know. Blake Corum's the big one. Because like I look around on like multiple like reputable leagues, like good leagues, but he's projected so little that he's like way down. And he has 2 solid weeks in a row. Yeah, he does look so much fresher. Yeah, dude. Let's see. What we got? Yeah, it's so funny. I've never okay, so Benson is my biggest name, and Corum is like the name of like that I'm sneaking onto my teams. Like or I already have him on teams. But like the one who's obviously going to be like the starter this week and that everybody should spend money upon is Trey Benson. The guy that everybody needs to rush to their waivers, and whether they're going for Benson or not, they need to go for Corum, because if Kyron Williams goes down, Corum, in my opinion, is an RB1. Also, probably not available, but Woody Marks. He's starting to look like he's going to get some play. Let's see. Trying to see ones that are available, and so you can still go for DeMarcado. I still think it's gonna be Benson, but you can still go for DeMarcado if you're really desperate. Like, I mean, I know I'm saying really gross names, but in redraft sometimes, actually, I mean Dynasty, I guess too, but like redraft, yeah, I think Chubb's either done or he's gonna be like he'll volume himself into like if he has volume in a touchdown, then he's usable. He's like a 10 or 11 point game. He's mostly done in most formats. I will say in TCR he wasn't that bad because you get a half point. You get a half point per first down. So if you're in a league that gets half point first down, then Chubb's not that bad because he's just fumbling and bumbling into the not a fumble, but like he's just like rumbling and bumbling forward into a half point. But yeah, I'm questioning if Mixon comes back. I haven't heard a word about it. I didn't grab him early, but I grabbed him, like, for example, in the podcast league, I grabbed him at 1401. So like I grabbed him in the 14th round, knowing like, oh, if he doesn't come back, most 14th round picks get dropped anyways, or switched for waiver guys. I was able to just stash him on the IR. So let's hope, because I'm pretty low at RB. It's like, don't get me wrong, I love my wide receivers. DK Metcalf, Jamison Williams, George Pickens, Malik Neighbors. And then I grabbed Njoku in the 7th, and he didn't work out. Man, if I didn't grab Njoku in the 7th, who would I have grabbed? That's a fun game. That's a game you should never play with yourself, but I'm about to do it right now. Let's see who I would have picked if I didn't pick Njoku. So I took Njoku, and then I took Mason in the 8th, 8-1. I could have taken. Oh, this makes me sick. Oh, that makes me sick. Travis Etienne went at 8-4 in that league. I could have taken Etienne and Mason instead of Njoku and Mason. I could have taken Jalen Warren. Oh, I'm sick. Oh, I'm sick. Oh, I'm sick over it. I don't even want to talk about it. All right. So let's see what else we got. I guess we'll pop over to some news if there's any. So we're gonna. I almost named the episode after this, but I didn't want to do it because I know me and Piff are gonna talk about the fact that Russell Wilson got benched, but we'll touch on it a little bit. Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I know that Russ had that one good game and he was throwing the moon balls and this and that, but like, I don't know. I think this could be good. Russ had a very, very bad game and hit both of his like returning. Well, one was returning, one just played. Two of his linemen had like crazy good games stat wise. For what? What league? What league? Oh, I just looked at it. Let's see. My only reserve. It's not a bad trade offer. It's just I don't want to trade McBride. I have Kelsey, and I don't really like Hawk that much. I really like McBride. But yeah, it was a good offer. I don't know. I like McBride a lot. What can I say? The waiver show. See what else we got. So first of all, I did call Daniel Jones being the starter, but I did not call him potentially being comeback player of the year. Insane. Loving it for Pittman. Let's see. All right. Sorry, guys. I had to pull that up. Still getting used to. I've been doing it for long enough. You think I'd be used to producing and doing this at the same time, but I didn't have anything ready. Let's see. All right. Let's do it on here. All right. While I look for news, I want to talk about something. Do we need to really worry about Brian Thomas Jr.? Oh, I should save that for Piff. Yeah, I'm getting worried, man. I mean, if you go to the waivers and pick up Diami Brown, he's doing better right now. Let's see. I doubt we're gonna see. Yeah, right. I doubt we're gonna see Cam Scattaboo on waivers, but if for some reason you're in one of those like super thin leagues and he's still on your waivers, I mean, obviously grab him, but I don't think he's gonna be on your waivers. I don't want to not say his name. Let's see. Terry McLaurin, we don't know if he's gonna play. So if you're super desperate, maybe grab one of those other Washington guys like Luke McCaffrey or something. We do have Jordan Addison coming back this week. Let's see. All right. Loving that. Oh, unfortunately, it looks like Jatavion Sanders out multiple weeks due to a high ankle sprain. He was just starting to warm up. Every time he's starting to heat up and look good, he gets hurt. It's a very unfortunate, talented player. Be careful. I'm probably gonna get slack for this. Be careful of Wandale. He could still do well, but he had that. He already failed you this last week, and he had the big week with Russ. But like, we do not know what's gonna happen with Jackson Dart. Theo Johnson could get peppered. Cam Scatteraboo could get peppered. We know Malik Neighbors is gonna get targets no matter what. But I'm saying besides him, there's a good chance that he just, throws it. Rookie quarterbacks tend to throw it to the tight end and the running back a lot. So that's just something, food for thought. Food for thought. I don't know if it's going to be JJ McCarthy or if it's going to be Carson Wentz, but if I'm desperate enough, I'm still firing up Jordan Addison. If I have somebody else to play over him, I'm obviously going there to see how week one's going to be of him and see how he's going to do. But if you're a deep enough dynasty, then you got to do what you got to do. Let's see. I'm worried about Hunter Henry being a trap. Because he just had a really good game and he does that. He blows up and then he disappears. I am very excited for Dart. I'm not expecting him to come out and be, this crazy week one amazing phenom, but I just between the 2 out of the 3 games that Russ played, between the games he played in Denver, I don't, and then the games he played in Pittsburgh, I don't think he has it. I think he's I'm not going to say the word washed because these are still elite athletes that are way better than me, you or I at all this stuff. But I will say that I think the opportunity and the ceiling of Dart working things out is way more exciting than watching Russell Wilson throw it away on 4th down. If you throw it away on a different down, okay, you're trying to live another day. If it's 4th and goal or 4th and 10 or 4th and 7 or whatever it is, and you're down a couple and you're going to lose if you don't go for it, and you just throw it out of bounds to get it away, all right, you don't care. You're here for a paycheck. You're trying to stay in the NFL as long as you can, jack your stats up, whatever your excuse was. Maybe you think you're better than you are and you really thought you were going to – what's up, Coon? And maybe you thought you were going to, do something and you didn't. But the fact of the matter is, I think they have a better shot with Dart, and I think they have a better shot with Winston as well. I think Russ, if there's another team that's desperate enough and they're just desperate enough to trade for him, then I'd say trade him, whether it's the Bengals or any other team. So that's what I think about that. I am pretty pumped for him. I think him and Scatteraboo are going to have a pretty nice connection. Definitely worried about Brian Thomas Jr. I spent all off season telling everybody how worried I was and how I didn't think Trevor Lawrence was that good and how I was very, very. I'm gonna go back and get clips and so I can play them for the show. But there's numerous times I am on record saying I'm worried because most of Brian Thomas's best games came with Mac Jones. They did not come with Trevor Lawrence. And yeah, then this year's happening. And it's just like, man, very, 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 very concerned because I mean, I have dynasty leagues where I just own Brian Thomas Jr. And then I have dynasty leagues where or startups, whether dynasty or redraft, where I grabbed him, and I'm a little worried. I didn't grab him too much in redraft though because I just didn't see it this year. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying get off of Brian Thomas Jr. I'm just simply saying, you know, temper your expectations. I think the moral of the story is sometimes we have to analyze where we're drafting somebody and what they did. Yes, what he did was great. But when we really dissect that it was a different quarterback, that's when it should have been like the red flag. Like, hey, maybe he shouldn't be going between 112 and 206. Maybe he should have been a third or fourth round pick. Yeah. And Travis Hunter's also been underwhelming. And I think that's all because of Trevor Lawrence. I really do. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is that good. I think he got hyped up. He was at a good school with a good coach, with good game plan, and it made him look better than he really was. But it's crazy how that works because you'll have a guy at a high level program, and you'll have him doing so well, and everybody's saying he's the new Peyton Manning, and he's doing so well, and this and that. And then you have somebody like at a school that's, I mean, look at Josh Allen. And like nobody thought ever, like when he got drafted, the Bills fans were like upset that he got drafted. And then he's just great. And then so many of these top names who get drafted 101 end up busting out. I wouldn't call Kyler Murray a bust, but I will say that like I feel like he hasn't lived up to what they want him to live up to. I do feel like that. I think in fantasy we love him because sometimes he pulls 30 to 60 yards on the ground and you love that. And it's like, oh, cool. He juiced up his stats a little bit and it makes him look way better than he actually really was. It's like the Justin Fields effect or the Tebow effect or like, insert name below where you're getting so much rushing yard potential sometimes that it masks what they're doing in the passing game. Don't get me wrong. All the guys I named they had their games where they did well and threw, chucked the ball pretty well. But on average, they've had their stats on the ground. Lamar's been guilty of that in the past before. And mostly Lamar, it's not that he can't do it. It's that he does whatever's asked of him. So there's some games where he throws it for 100 and change, but he rushes it for almost 100. And just is what it is. So you got to accept that. I'm underwhelmed with a lot of quarterbacks this year. I don't know about you guys that are here, but I mean, the first couple weeks Jordan Love did pretty decent, so I expected that, and then he did very bad last week, and I'm hoping that that's just an indicative that the Browns defense is that good, and we just all underestimated them. I'm just hoping that we just really, truly, truly underestimated the Browns defense, and that Jordan Love's going to be okay. We've had major, major, major injuries between Brock Purdy, Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels. The list goes on. And you had those injuries, and then you had the other people underperforming, whether it's Kyler or Dak, people that we expected to really take a step forward again, and they're not. So even Josh Allen had a bad week, He had 2 weeks that you were like really, really happy, but he had 1 week where I don't know about you guys, but I had multiple leagues where I had Josh Allen and I still lost almost because of Josh Allen. So it happens. Nobody's perfect. There's very, very few players that every single time they play, they're money. The best of the best have off games. And that's just something we have to deal with. I think sometimes we get so used to some of these guys who were, before CMC had all his injuries, we were so used to that. We were so used to, who another one? Kamara for years. For years, Kamara was, depending on your format and what your scoring was, Kamara was between 15 and 25 points every single week, and it was money. We don't have that with a lot of people. Yeah, Zay Flowers cost a lot of people matchups this week. I feel like Zay is one of those guys that, like, when you play him, almost like his teammate Mark Andrews, when you play him, you're coming to terms with the fact that you might get 9 catches for 107 yards and a touchdown, or you might get 2 to 3 catches for 17 yards. You don't know. I don't know what his actual stat line was. Let me look up what his actual stat line was. All right. Zay. I made a joke and I wasn't that far off, by the way, guys. I don't play Zay Flowers in any leagues, really. I have him in very, very, very few Dynasty leagues. And if I did play him, he was probably like my third flex or something. He went 2 for 3 for 13 yards. And whoever wrote, you can tell in Sleeper, by the way, shout out Sleeper. Yeah, it was 2 for 13. That's hilarious. Get this. Tell me you didn't, or tell me you had him in fantasy without telling me you had him in fantasy. This is the way that the quote unquote professional at Sleeper wrote the thing. I get it. You put some emotion into it. You make it seem like you care. This just makes it seem like you had Zay Flowers. The Sleeper person said, Zay Flowers quiet in week 3 loss. That's the headline. Zay Flowers caught 2 of 3 targets for just 13 yards. The fact that he put just and he didn't put for 13 yards and didn't just like type it in like he was a journalist or something. The fact that he was like for just 13. That makes me think, wow, whoever did this, and I'm not trying to throw shade at you. I think it's hilarious. Whoever did this, in my opinion, was playing Zay Flowers in at least one league, if not multiple leagues. Because why would you put just like that? But Flowers wasn't able to get into the action, and he finished the game with just 13 yards again, which burned any fantasy managers who decided to start him in week 3. They're so salty. The way that they did this, they are so salty. He's a bit of an inconsistent player, but should be able to bounce back and play better in sometime in the near future. Whoever wrote that is so salty for Zay. That's hilarious. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, that's hilarious to me. I'm sorry, but you should not read. I don't care if it's ESPN, Sleeper. I'm a Sleeper guy, but I don't care if it's ESPN. I don't care if it's Sleeper. I don't care if it's Yahoo. I don't care. Whatever, NFL.com. Regardless, if you are the one typing up the thing, there should not be any clue or any indication that you own that player in fantasy. I can't just like write up a thing. I can't write up a thing on Derrick Henry week 2 and be like, yeah, Derrick Henry got just 2 points in fantasy and like it really fucking sucks for anybody who played him. Like people whoever played him and like really needed him and like depended on him and believed in him and then he let us down. Anyways, yeah, that's how many yards he got. It was horrible. Can you imagine if I wrote that? Obviously, that was an overdramatic hyperbole of what they wrote, but it's funny. It's just funny to me. Hitman, I know how they feel. I'm not a big Zay guy. I know you're a Bateman guy who did well. I know you're a Zay guy. I'm not a. There's certain quarterbacks that when I see them, I want to stay away from most of their wide receivers because I don't like when a quarterback just spreads it around so much. So that's my concern. That's my concern for sure. Let me see if I got anything else. I know we usually go an hour. I'm probably gonna go to like 45. I know it seems like it's only 15 minutes, but when I'm alone, and there's not a lot of waivers. And I also, to be fair, I'm also not talking about all the news because Piff and me are probably still gonna do a show on Thursday. So I don't want to like come in here and like say all the stuff that me and him are gonna talk about. I already talked about like 3 things that me and him are gonna talk about, but I figured it's okay because he's probably not even gonna watch this. Let's see. So I think it's really funny that Titans head coach Brian Callahan handed off play calling duties to the QB coach. It's like, all right, so you're the head coach. You're not calling plays. What are you doing? Just calling the timeouts, standing there? Like, I don't understand. Like, why do we need you? That should be like a red flag to the organization. Like, what do you mean you gave up play calling duties? Why did we hire you then? Why are we paying you millions of dollars? So that's really funny. Yeah, I'll tell you. Everybody who tunes into this show knows early in the draft season, it's documented. There's a bunch of podcasts that are on our channel of me talking about it. I loved Harold Fannin so much. And God, so many times I'd go to grab him and Hitman just grabbed him. And I was just like, no, guys, let's restart the draft. This can't happen. This can't happen. Hitman can't have him. This doesn't make any sense. I'm the one who's on him. And I'm very happy with him. Obviously, guys like Tyler Warren, Tat, Amika, everybody's happy with how well they're doing. And that's a given. They're all first-round guys. But Fannin is one of those guys that you got in like sometimes the 3rd, 4th round in your rookie draft. And if it was only a 3-rounder, then sometimes you went undrafted. So, steal anybody who got him. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Hitman said he saw him at camp weekly. He was a stud. It stood out so much. So, yeah, when you see a guy in person, like I have a couple of friends who go to like Giants camp, and they said the same exact thing about Cam Scattaboo. And it was like one of those things where when you see somebody in person, they're just like crushing it. It's a lot different than seeing a clip or two on Twitter. So I'm excited. I'm very excited about Quinshon Judkins. If for some reason he's on your waivers, he's not going to be. But listen, I don't know how your league goes. I don't know how thin your league is. I don't know anything like that. But you know, if he's there for some reason, you got to go for him. I agree. And Njoku would be gone next year. The reason that I wanted him so badly is because I thought Njoku would be gone next year. I didn't even expect him to explode week 1 or year 1 or week 1 rather, So, all right, guys. Well, I know it was a little tiny smidge shorter than our normal shows are, but this has been the waiver show. There really wasn't a lot of waivers. listen, if I missed somebody, then it means that they were a waiver guy last week that should have gotten picked up, and your league just lacked on it, and they might still be on your waivers. But we touched on everybody who might still be on most waivers. The big thing is, again, guys, Trey Benson. Trey Benson is the big one. I personally am probably gonna throw 40-something, 50-something, 60-something, depending on the league or how desperate I am at running back. There's a chance I might throw all of my FAAB on him because he is going to crush the rest of the year, in my opinion. Thank you very much. Hey, man, I appreciate that. And, guys, most likely we'll be back on Sunday with an actual episode of the 5-Star Podcast. And until next time, guys, this has been the Waiver Show. Dump that FAAB.